creating music.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to get involved. People that hadn't been with you for a while, like Diddy.
Yeah.
Comes to you and wants to be the executive producer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you look at him and say, man, you
can't executive produce an executive producer.
What'd you say to him? What was the
That's
conversation?
what I said. You can't executive producer. But he said, man, you're the greatest, all right? But even Michael Jordan had a coach.
That's what he said.
Yeah, he's great.
And you listened to him.
Yeah. What happened was I was going in the house. I was right in front of my house. Yeah. And I got this phone call from him. He was like, come by the studio. And I'm like, man, I'm looking at the door, and I'm like, I could just go in the house and be done with it. You know, but I'm one of them people that believe everything happens for a reason. Right. He called me. He's never called me to come to the studio before.
Not ever in your life?
Mm-mm. So I pull away from my house. I head over to the studio. I get there. He's playing all these lush samples and all this 70s soul music, which relates straight to the movie, because that's the backdrop for this album that I made is set against these soul samples, you know, these things that I've heard growing up. So he's playing all these records, and they're amazing. And I'm like, what are you doing? So I'm putting the Hitman back together. You know, he got LV and Sean C., you know, his whole group. Right. And I'm like, but what are you doing all this type of music? Because it was the music that I needed. It was the exact music that, I envisioned in my mind. And he was like, man, I have nobody to give it to. You know, Biggie's not here, and I can't give these to just anybody. And I was like, well,
he thought somebody who had Biggie's power needed.
Yeah.
And you were the one that he thought worthy of it.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, give me all. I said, what do you do with this music?
Jay-Z and Diddy used to be best buddies. After making their mark in the industry in the early 90s, these two would have several collaborations, while also experiencing their fair share of controversies. In 1999, Jay was in trouble for allegedly stabbing Lance Rivera, and Diddy was caught in the infamous 1999 club shooting with Jennifer Lopez. While these two men had each other's back like brothers, the same cannot be said for what's happening in 2024.
You're going to show us the video, but first, give us some context on what we're about to see.
Yes, Jake, this is incredibly disturbing footage, so I do want to warn our viewers, as you did. But as you said, Cathy's lawsuit, which was filed in November of 2023 and then was quickly settled overnight, it did open the floodgates. But in that complaint, Jake, she details an incident that she alleged happened in March of 2016 at a hotel in Los Angeles. She claimed in her lawsuit that she was physically assaulted by Diddy. Now our team in the LA Bureau, we have got our hands on that surveillance footage, and it appears to corroborate Cathy's claims identically. Really, Jake, the lawsuit lines up with exactly what we are seeing.
Since Diddy's evil side became public, especially after the CNN clip of him assaulting Cathy, Jay-Z has been awfully quiet, and some believe he's trying so hard not to expose himself.
Low. Alongside an unflattering close-up photo of the Roc Nation mogul, 50 wrote, Jay in hibernation, he ain't coming outside till this ish with Puff blow over. No brunch, no lunch, no dinner. LOL, I'm all you got, I'm outside. 50 was referencing Jay-Z canceling this year's Roc Nation brunch, which is held annually before the Grammy Awards and is typically attended by Diddy, among other A-list.
I walked towards the back, and mind you, I didn't know where Un was. I didn't know where anybody was. I was just like coming to the party. I actually walked up, and I was on the ground. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm stabbed. Jay stabbed me. So I'm like, what? And he's like, Jay-Z stabbed me. And I'm like, what are you saying? Like, I'm like, stop saying that, pretty much. Like, what are you saying? Like, I just didn't think he knew what he was saying. I didn't know if he was stabbed. If I'm not mistaken, he had on like this, either had on like some sort of big coat or big like shirt, to the point where I didn't see any blood or anything. So I'm really not knowing what's going on. But by the time I, look up, it's nobody else in the club. It's literally just me and my two girlfriends and Un, and maybe like, some people that worked at the club or whatever. And he's, laying there, and he kept saying it. So the police come and they take us all in for questioning. Once they got us in for questioning, by my girlfriends and I being drunk, they made us go in a cell and basically like take a nap. we wouldn't have been of any use to try to interview at that point. And then once the interview was over, they're asking me what happened. And I'm like, I don't know. I walked in and he was, on the ground like this. So like, I didn't see anything. I don't know.
Because Jay-Z grew up in constant survival mode, he has had some violent interactions. One back in 1999, he was caught striking a young female fan backstage. The rapper appears to slap and then push the young woman in front of him as he walks down the hallway with his people. We've seen this time and time again where celebrities defend themselves in these situations, which you'd hope they have bodyguards. But I mean, we see Cardi B throwing the microphone. We see other celebrities taking phones and throwing them. So I get why they get frustrated, but you cannot get physical because there's so much you're risking at this point. They have a celebrity, they have money. People can easily sue you for just about anything. A spokeswoman for the rapper says the footage was taken out of context. Quote, the person in that video is someone who he has worked with for years and they are very close, and for it to be exerted that way is an insult. So it seems like it was supposed to be a friendly thing, but that footage didn't seem too friendly to me.
But these allegations against Jay-Z go beyond stabbing Rivera and assaulting a fan. There were also rumors of Hova cheating with a woman named Cathy White, who somehow died under mysterious circumstances.
Also in Cathy's case, HSK would claim that their story was an exclusive that they had received from a source directly close to Cathy, claiming that Cathy's relationship with Jay-Z went back all the way to before him and Beyonce were even married, and the source would also claim that they had first learned about the affair between Cathy and Jay from her friend Jason Lee, who went on to end up being perhaps best known for being the founder of Hollywood Unlocked, another celebrity gossip site essentially doing the same thing as HSK but in the modern era, as well as appearing on the TV show Love and Hip.
He was the one who got her removed from the web. Why? Because Cathy White was allegedly Jay-Z's side piece he got pregnant while he was married to Beyonce. Cathy was an up-and-coming publicist when she mysteriously died at 28 from what officials say was a brain aneurysm, despite being incredibly healthy and her death being, well, shady. Rumors about the alleged affair between Jay-Z and Cathy sparked after she was spotted at a Las Vegas nightclub partying with Jay-Z and Diddy. It didn't take long for people to start connecting the dots and figuring out that Cathy was Jay-Z's mistress. Cathy had enough of living a double life and decided that it was finally time to tell her story, and that's when she was offed. First responders to the scene felt her death was suspicious. An NYPD officer speculated that, quote, someone might have given Cathy a bad drug, end quote, and ordered a toxicology report, but that report never.
Now let's talk about some of Jay-Z's love children, because when he's not pushing women around, he's getting them pregnant. And at one point, I guess he paid $2.5 million for a woman to disappear with his baby. I think we've actually talked about Jay-Z's children before. There's like one person who's spoken out claiming that they are Jay-Z's son, and I believe him. Jay-Z had actually hooked up with an adult film star named Jasmine Cashmere. And then a lot of people found out that she was pregnant with his baby. She ended up having the baby, but they made a public statement saying that they were not hooking up and that she was not, in fact, pregnant by Jay-Z's baby. Interestingly enough, a friend tipped off the news that Jay-Z had paid Jasmine $2.5 million to disappear, and that she had actually bought a new house around this time. Jasmine and her friends who had spread the rumors haven't bothered Jay-Z since the alleged payout. So is that a coincidence? Probably not. There's also another rumor that Jay-Z has a baby with a model named Chanel Scott, who is from Trinidad. Back in 2002, Jay-Z had an open relationship with Chanel while she was betrothed by another man. Oh, interesting. It was assumed that her child was her boyfriend's, but as her son grew up, the man man rejected him as his own because the boy didn't look like him. After a paternity test confirmed that Jay is the father, he stepped up and took responsibility. He bought Chanel and his son a nice home in Trinidad and gave them $1 million. He also pays child support. So shoot, Beyonce probably knows about this one. Jay and Chanel are still friends who keep in contact. She's publicly stated that Jay is a good father and has a lot of interest in his boy. One of Chanel's family friends was quoted saying, "It was a big old mess at one time, but I think once they resolved the issue of fatherhood and of paternity, things started to level off."
There were also allegations that Jay-Z fathered a child with model Chanel Scott. A man named Gerald Andrews, who was assumed to be the child's father, said that a DNA test had shown that his son Malik Saeed was not his son and that Jay-Z is the father.
All right, now while Kim Zolciak is fighting for custody of her kids, Jay-Z is avoiding taking on his alleged 30-year-old son. Ramir Satterthwaite is claiming that Jay-Z is his biological father and has actually filed a new Supreme Court motion to reopen the case. The man also claims Jay-Z has abused the system for 10 years to avoid taking a paternity test. What do y'all think about this? I know celebrities, especially this big, are targets of this often. Al, do you think this is true, and do you think they look alike?
Look, this is just such a hot story. I am really into this story. A, first of all, I do think they look alike. B, though, Jay-Z's attorneys have been very vocal in saying and denying that this is not his child. But what could Jay-Z possibly be hiding? What is he embarrassed of? If I knew that wasn't my child 100% definitively, I think I would take the paternity test and keep it moving. Now, him being a billionaire, you can use your influence to win in most court cases because you spend a lot of money, you can spin the guy down. But what you can't win as a billionaire is public opinion. And I just feel like there's a question mark now around him and his family.
So Ramir Satterthwaite, who has been claiming to be Hova's son for decades, has taken his case to the Supreme Court. In an exclusive interview with the Daily Mail published on Monday, May 8th, he claims that he wants nothing more from Jay-Z than to see what he called justice served. Ramir also claimed that part of his demand includes unsealing the court documents so he can pursue the case against Jay-Z successively. "This is not going to be over until justice is served. I just want to live my life, and when it's all said and done, I hope that Jay-Z will want to be a part of my life if that is God's will. I won't stop fighting for this until I win, and I will win because..."
To make matters even worse, Hova has also been accused of running a trafficking ring with Diddy, with his name thrown around as the Black Jeffrey Epstein. But while this has been dismissed as an overreaching rumor, it's caused us to wonder what else Jay is hiding, and how he might just have a little over 99 problems. And trust Jaguar Wright, a backup singer for Jay in 2001, to have even more damning information on the rapper. And she's claimed that he's got more skeletons in his closet than Diddy. Not only did she link him to the death of Big L, but she also believed that he was a huge part of Diddy's freak-off parties.
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time, like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
Yeah, shout out D. Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D. Haven.
Yeah, we need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
You did.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now, I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar. Oh. I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough. You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in Houston. Why the fuck did that house burn up? Who the fuck goes to their childhood house for a visit and the shit goes up in flames?
That was very weird. The next day, within a week?
And no, the next day.
The next day.
And still, no real investigation on how the house just went up in flames.
Man.
I guess they paid y'all off. Like they paid y'all off for that Astro World.
This is all happening too fast. But do you really think Jigga is next in line after Diddy? Let's hear what you think in the comment section.